Well, good evening, everyone. Here we are with our second race for the USA Trucks this weekend. And it is this time the West Division at Las Vegas. Recently, we just saw him race at the Chili Bowl, and as all chaos had broke out, our first overall Chevy winner is now John Hagen in the USA Trucks. So four different winners in four races. Could we potentially see number 5 here tonight? Only time will tell. 145 laps here at Las Vegas for the Bally 217. And your starting lineup is as follows. On the front row, you've got Kyler Sestre and Tom Cording, followed by Brian DeBlank and Adam Starr. Trevor Walker and Ewan What Army. Felicia Roman and John Hagen. Matthew Fastnaw and Krista Cower. Tyler Shangle and Bella Fawn. Chris Harvey and Dave Steele Jr. Alan Chavot and the 27 of Philip Leeds. Braden Hunt and Cash. Dalton Scott and Monty Shangle. Alan Malcolm and Paul Ladino. Joshua Gaiman and Roach. Lotus King and the 66 of Nathan Mann. Jamison Thole and Nate Newman. Lucas Holmes and Silas Huddleston. Luis Rodriguez and Jacob Shangle. Craig Popcris and Daniel Paulus. Kat Durham and the 95 of Anheuser-Wachner. Danny Lidowitz here in the All-Star entry, the number 58 Chevy TSI truck here tonight with Josh Drake, Chasey Plays, Luke, William Kinsella Jr., and Gavin Legend. If you need a long odds bet for tonight's race, I would put some money down on Kyler Sestre, as he has seemingly been right there at the edge of pushing through with a win. Even Brian DeBlank there right behind him could be a good candidate to get his first career win here tonight.
Dad, you got your radio on over there?
A lot of very new and fresh faces in this Western Division. Some of the top tier talent towards the front of the field, as you can see. But even like John Hagen, who just won last week at the Chili Bowl, that it's his rookie season here. Going into turn 1, side by side as Sestre and Cording duke it out. DeBlank has a little bit of a drafting help there from Trevor Walker. Tom Cording had a good showing at the Chili Bowl, and with what chaos and shenanigans did happen, he was unable to win at Chili Bowl, but hoping to pick up where he left off tonight in the 90 truck, trying to secure more wins and more bonus points for the W chase at the end of the season. DeBlanc about to settle into third here with some help from You and What Army. Kyler Sestre leading the way. Tonight's race should be a bit of redemption, as our previous races have been chaotic based on NR 2003 standards. Las Vegas is a very proven, and this track should not have any problems, as we have seen in the last couple broadcasts. And with that, even tonight's race should pretty much get through within an hour and a half, would be my guess. Depending on how crazy it might get with cautions, which could very well be unlikely to happen. If it stays green the entire time, we could be looking at a sub hour and a half length race here at Vegas. Here we go, DeBlanc making a move on Tom Cording. Amongst the top 5 right now, Tom Cording is the only, and Trevor Walker. Tom Cording and Trevor Walker both have a win on the season already, and they're running 2nd and 4th right now. Tyler Shangle in the 45 Dodge Ram there, going to be finishing out his season in that 45 truck. Going a little bit further through the field here. Got Chavot, Cash, Malcolm, Scott, Shangle, and Gaiman. That's outside the top 20 right there. Dave Steele Jr. hopped ship pretty much on a timely manner, leaving Ford to join Chevy. And as soon as he did, Chevy finds victory lanes. So perhaps a couple of these teams are realizing that the resources are getting to be where Chevy needs it to get to victory lane. Some of the people at the beginning of the season might have thought it was a fluke, or that people were crazy to be switching over to Chevy, as they had failed to win a race in the 2 years of the established series. But now that the win streak has been, the winless streak has been broken, these Chevy teams are going to be raring and ready to go to get to victory lane again. Chris Harvey in 12th, matching the number on that truck there. 12 truck number 12. Last week's winner, Hagen, up to 9th. And then we got a whole slew of all-star trucks with rotating drivers. The 14 of Adam Starr, the 15 of You and What Army, and the 77 of Felicia Roman. The top 5 have really bunched up here at the front. Passing is going to be at a premium here. Seems like they're going to have to wait for the right opportunity to execute. Kyler Sestre started on the pole and has led every lap so far. And there we have a lead change trying to materialize here as the 90 got side by side with the 24. The 24 fighting back steals the lead and keeps it. Now Trevor Walker making some moves there on the inside of the 85. A lot of good side-by-side racing going through turn 3 here as the 90 still fighting hard, trying to get that lead. Very impressive here at Vegas that you got almost 10 trucks within the same zip code of each other. Even Braden Hunt still in the picture, could make some moves and get back into the top 10 here before you know it. In case you're new to the series, we do have... Oh no, why is it crashing? On Vegas of all things, it's gonna crash. Dum stupid. So we had to go ahead and jinx it all. I don't know why the game has been crashing more frequently lately. It's not like we've changed anything on the computer end here. So we'll do a lot like what we did in the last time that a race crashed at this point, and we'll cut it by 5% on the length. So now it'll be 129 laps. Technical difficulties, always gonna be So if you were having a bad race, you might actually get lucky and have a better race on the restart here, as the racing entities that be decided that the game needed to crash tonight. And with that, we do have a new front row. No longer Kyler Sustre, but instead it is Alan Malcolm at the front. "129 laps, enable your better cautions."
Yeah, make it a go, man. Let's have some fun.
And so there we go. Another race that has been hit with the NR 2003 crashing scenario. A lot of the drivers look like they're in about the same spots as the initial start, so it has not changed a whole lot, except now Alan Malcolm is your leader to start the race here. Crazy part is, on longer races with my Cup Series, I have not had crashing problems like at all this year. The only difference with that is I'm recording rather than streaming, so maybe there's something that gets hung up with the streaming scenario of things. There we go. Ticker has reset and we're all good. Alan Malcolm leads over Kyler Sustre and Tom Cording. You and What Army and the 85 of Brian DeBlank. So as I was about to say, some of you that might be new to the series here and not exactly sure what's going on here, we do have all-star entries. And if you know what the comparison would be, like the 51 truck for Kyle Busch Motorsports that often sees a different driver in it each week, and it's not exactly truly all-star candidates that fill that seat always. It's going to just be the idea or the concept that that truck has all-star power. Some of those drivers and seats would be like the 15 there of You and What Army, or even the 14 of Adam Starr. Some of those all-star seats, however, have turned into a permanent seat. The 9 there of Alan Malcolm used to be Tim Hansen, and when Tim Hansen left, it turned into a rotating all-star seat, but currently has a full-time driver now, and based on the rules, he will be eligible to run for the championship here. He's missed 4 races, or at least missed the first 3, and it'll be harder to point his way in. But no matter what, getting a win will lock him into the Dubby chase at the end of the season, after the regular season concludes. Some more all-star seats would be the equivalent here of the 77, which has had a different driver every week so far. And this truck actually races in both the East and the West. So it has seen 10 different drivers in 10 races between the East and the West. The 58 here for TSI is the one Chevy All-Star entry. And we've seen some different faces that have not run in our series altogether hopping into this truck usually. So it's kind of the, I guess you could almost consider it like Project 91, where it's reaching a little bit further than the existing universe to get some more driver seat time in the series. So there's a reason why that truck's running 29th. It may not be the fastest, but it's definitely a learning experience for whoever drives it. So Alan Malcolm still holding off the two others behind him at the moment. Tom Cording has a win on the season already. Would be looking to rack up some bonus points for the W chase. In the meantime, you and What Army would like to try and help Chris Harvey by helping with anything on track as possible to get his teammate into the playoffs. Chris Harvey currently running 9th, has some ground to gain here. But it's nice having teammates on track that can help set the truck up in the right direction. Here we go. Sustre making a move on the inside of the 90 truck. That's going to open the gate for the 85 to make the pass as well. So now we're getting back to the lap where the game crashed last time. I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm going to stare it down, stare the devil in the eye, and make sure that it don't crash again. Even though it's out of my control, I'm not afraid. 3 wide for second place there. Wow, Sustre with a huge move. But the momentum on the high side was too much for him as they both drove right around him. And now we've got a new second place driver with What Army up to second now. Tom Cording getting that second spot back here, but not so quickly as 15 driving it pretty much. That high lane is the spot to be on track here. You want to be on that high side to get that run off the exit. You can also see there too that Alan Malcolm is smartening up to the lines behind him, and when he gets a run, someone behind, he'll chop high to keep the momentum from blowing by. Just like that, you see he cuts down low and takes the momentum away from the 90 truck, then cuts back high, keeping that 15 truck woed up enough. Strategically holding the lead at the front. That 9 truck has not put a wheel wrong yet, having led since the green flag. 16 laps now. Fastest lap does belong to Josh Gaiman, who's a little bit further back in the field. Do a quick skim through the field, going through to see where everyone's running. Got Adam Starr, John Hagen, Chris Harvey, Dave Steele, and Matthew Fastnot. Felicia Roman, Alan Chavot, Krista Cower, Philip Leeds, Cash, Tyler Shangle, and there's Josh Gaiman running 19th, but holds the fastest lap on track so far. Couple more Hondas, then you got Ford, Dodge, Chevy. More Chevys to follow, a whole line of them. It has happened before in the USA Trucks where a driver gets their first win within 2 races. Obviously, the inaugural race winner of the very first race of the USA Trucks had to have won on their first start, and that meant the second driver after that obviously was on their second start, got the win. But some more, I guess, oddities. We had Guido Piano winning his second start after starting late into the first season in 2022. And even Jack Davis won within his first 2 starts. I'm not going to jinx it here, but Alan Malcolm is on his second career start here in the USA Trucks. His first start came last week at the Chili Bowl and had a decent showing. Still came out of it with a top 15, I believe, in his first ever start. So he's already matching that pace tonight for a top 15. But it's going to be hard. He's going to have to hold off some very fast trucks behind him, especially the likes of Tom Cording, who we've seen his brother Tim Cording and what that team has to offer. Also, this number 9 engine is no stranger to success. When we saw Tim Hansen in the truck, it had been to victory lane a couple times. This is still the same number 9 truck for Trevor Ventures, team truck to Trevor Walker and Jordan Walker. So we know that this truck is proven to make the victory lane. And it seems like they found another good driver here tonight. Well, here this season with Alan Malcolm. They are very bunched up at the front here as they've all caught up to the leader. Something has got to give here. The 90 gets by, but we're going to see that momentum on the high line again as the 9 is very, very expertly holding that draft behind him, blocking the runs on both sides. Malcolm ended up fighting off a charge there from What Army. And this is really just giving us some really tight, bunched up action at the front of the field here. It's allowing for some of the drivers deeper in the pack to catch a draft and try to make up positions that they might not have otherwise been able to make. Sestre slots into second there. What Army giving it a run. Nothing beats Powerade on a nice hot day. Battle again at the front, this time Sestre and Malcolm. Again, Malcolm under attack. So many times, though, that outside line kicks it into another gear. Oh, that was a cascading effect there, if I've ever seen one. That was close. These three behind Malcolm just cannot seem to stop getting three wide for position. Slowly but surely, John Hagen's picking them off one by one. Now up into 7th, it looks like. 8th, about to pick up 7th. What Army being an all-star entry in a peculiar position here if he wins the race. As an all-star entry who wouldn't be eligible for the W chase. But you could also think of it that he could be playing spoiler on the rest of the field, locking other people out that might need a win to get in, which could potentially allow for his teammate, Chris Harvey, to point his way in without a win. And there we go, the 15. What Army making a pass. It looks like he might actually be able to make it stick here. Malcolm driving it hard on the outside. And man, that was a good attempt from the 15 truck. Just didn't quite pay off. That would have been good enough probably on the last lap. Would have been close. Fast lap still belonging to Josh Gaiman. See if he's made any more moving through the field. And fortunately, Gaiman has dropped a spot back to 20th now. But he is within the lead draft, which is crazy to say that the top 20 are all within the same area of each other. That's saying something with this Western Division, as this is kind of our lighter class. Our East Division is stacked to the rafters with talent. I mean, you got Atlee Weiss, Chaz Chadwick, and Tim Cording, who were your final 3 contestants from last season during the Winter Championship. And it's almost a miracle that the three of them didn't get separated when this split into the East and the West. So we still get to see them duke it out for their rivalry. But I think what's going to be interesting when we get to the W Chase is seeing how who comes out of the East Division and the West Division and pairing them up to see who's truly the best of the best. We're starting to see some standouts, especially Tom Cording. I would put, obviously, Trevor Walker, who's a seasoned veteran, having run since the inaugural season in 2022. But then we got newcomers like Kyler Sestre, who's a wild card. Brian DeBlanc, after all the headaches and struggles of the past seasons, where it seemed like he was going to have to start eating top ramen just to make it by, he's showing that the switch from Ford to Chevy has been basically leaps and bounds over what he's been able to accomplish in the prior seasons. So I would keep an eye on Brian DeBlanc. He is definitely a blip on the radar right now. And of course, Chris Harvey, who could forget last season when he went on a tear, joining the series, and almost made the championship playoffs after missing the first half. Not obviously, it was not part of the series for the first half, and joins halfway in. But he goes on a tear of top 5s, top 10 finishes. And all it came down to is if he could have got another top 5 or 2 at the end of the season, he would have been fighting for a championship, kind of on a Kyle Busch level, where missing half the season and still come out with almost a shot to fight for a championship. Once you get past 20th place, it really gets spread out, as you got 21st, almost way farther back, the 22nd place, 23rd, 24th. Then you got your second kind of pack in the mid there, and then your third pack. Eventually, it looks like we're going to catch up to lap traffic for the leaders. Malcolm has been on a dominant performance here. No cautions since the flag dropped at the beginning. Tonight's race will be just shy of 200 miles in length. It'll be 193.5 miles around Las Vegas, which is close to what the original planned length was at 200. I'd only bumped it up to 217 because my Vegas file is modified for the 777 annual that we run in the Sylvania Cup Series. And without modifying that, I just kept the track length the same. Race length, that is. Although it's been the same leader from the start of the race, there's been some good action at the front of the field. A little bit of shuffling for position from second on back. Looks like DeBlanc has settled into 5th for now. Walker, Adam Starr, Matthew Fastnot, and John Hagen. Now we got Chris Harvey up into the top 10, defending that position against Dave Steele Jr. That 22 of Dave Steele is Trackhouse Racing, making their step down into a lower class. And showing some proof that they deserve to be in the truck series. Is definitely turned Dave Steele Jr.'s career around in terms of results on track here. Ooh, and now we've got a serious battle for the lead as Tom Cording has some drafting help from Kyler Sestre. This battle might not be over. Even though the 9 truck is caught back up in front and is cutting the draft off behind him, holding the lines and keeping the lead for now. It's just a matter of time before Tom Cording strikes the nail on the head. And just like that, Tom Cording takes the lead here on lap 52. Just in time as they catch up to lap traffic at the tail end of the field. This is going to be a tricky situation as lap traffic is likely going to hold up the pace of the 9 truck and the 90 as well. 3 wide almost with lap traffic there. 31 of Luke stays high and doesn't commit down low. Malcolm makes the wrong move there and gets stuck in the high lane behind the lap traffic. Trevor Walker makes big gains there and is now fighting for the lead. As you can see, side by side. Oh, the trucks in front of them almost getting loose. If you watch there, the 86, Josh Drake. Gets a bump there from Daniel Paulus, and they managed to keep from wrecking there. What could have been a situation was not a situation there. But they're not out of the woods, as that 86 still holding up the traffic. New leader in the meantime is Trevor Walker over Kyler Sestre. Tom Cording gets shuffled back to 3rd. Even further back, continuing to get shuffled out, is Alan Malcolm, who's just desperately looking for the inside line. There's an opening there, but it doesn't look like he's going to take it. And there we go. He falls all the way back to 14th. But finally gets back onto the inside line where he might be able to get some spots made back up here. Front of the field again looking a lot more like what we would expect here on the West Coast, with Trevor Walker and Tom Cording running 1-2. Both drivers looking to get their second win on the season. Brian DeBlanc, though, now in third, hoping that the two leaders bobble so that he can execute. Sounds like we had trucks. Ooh, and that's right in front of the leaders. What comes down usually comes back up, but it looks like the 26 is going to stay down on the apron. But they are so bunched up right now. I want to go back and look at exactly what happened to the number 26 truck. But yeah, we got people coming down pits, making their pit stops here. So this ain't halfway by any means. There's 67 laps to go. There's no way that they're going to be able to make to the finish without another pit stop. Wow, the 26 just made his own mistake there by hitting the wall. Come across start finish line and bam. Could have been a lot worse, especially with the leaders right there. Yeah, he's got something a little bit more going on there with that truck, as he's still on pit road. Oh wow, what happened to Alan Malcolm? Oh, we had more stuff going on at the back during that whole... That takes out a huge chunk of top contenders here. This was during pit stops, I believe, too. The 66 of Nathan Mann. Oh, wow. It comes right up into Dave Steele Jr. there. And there's just really nowhere for anyone to go as they all start crashing behind him. Ooh, Chris Harvey gets into the 99 truck, unfortunately. Ow. So that's a lot of fast trucks out of the race here. Just shy of halfway. Looked a lot like the same that the 26 truck had problems with earlier that almost caused a pile up. But this one actually did end up causing a pile up. $15 of what army? Let's see if he's able to get back going without... So now out of the race we've got the 27 of Philip Leeds, the 12 of Chris Harvey, the 9 of Alan Malcolm, the 07 of Cash, the 88 of John Hagen, the 66 of Nathan Mann, and the 99 of Daniel Paulus Jr. Now to the front of the field, it's going to be... Oh, I got to give some wave rounds here. Number 21. Wave number 90. So now Kyler Sustre to the lead, which is funny because in the original race it was Sustre at the front of the field leading. So the racing entities that be have figured out a way to reshuffle the deck back into the favor of Kyler Sustre. Got all our wave rounds cycling back to the back of the field as they're going to double file up for the restart. Adam Starr, Krista Cower, and it looks like the folks that pitted are going to be the fortunate ones here. Dave Steele Jr. now up to 5th. With the caution there, I would wager that they're going to be close on fuel mileage to the finish of this one. So perhaps if they're able to save under caution, and maybe that's why they were so slow getting going there on the restart, that they were still trying to conserve as much fuel getting to the green flag here. A few of these trucks look pretty tore up. Oh, and there goes Sustre pulling down. I think had a little bit to do with the restart. They weren't very happy with the way they held up the field on the restart. So they have to serve a pass-through penalty. So that puts the 45 of Tyler Shangle into the lead here with a truck that has physically seen better days, as well as Matthew Fastnot right there behind him. Both drivers were involved in that last wreck, the first caution of the race. I think we're going to have to DQ the 97 as it is holding up traffic like mad right here. Interesting. So we've got Krista Cower out front leading in the Subaru Baja, which could potentially be a new manufacturer to hit victory lane. It would actually be pretty neat if we had Chevy win their first race, Subaru win their first race, and then somehow next week on the west side that we see Honda get their first win. Still a lot of racing left to go here. Krista does have a little bit in her wheelhouse helping her with the fact that the two trucks behind her are pretty severely damaged, so the pace from those trucks are going to be slow. Krista, on the other hand, with a fresh looking truck there, should be able to do just fine holding the lead. Clean air. The real threat's going to be that 85 of Brian DeBlanc there in fourth. Even then, though, you can't talk down the 45 and the 09 as they are damaged, but they are not phased by that damage. Still running very fast laps there behind her. 29.963, which is still better than Krista's fast lap that time by. Tom Cording in 10th. Trevor Walker 12th. With damaged truck and all, here comes Tyler Shangle fighting on the inside alongside Krista Cower. Krista gets the run here on the front stretch, but Brian DeBlanc now trying to get alongside of Tyler. I think getting towards the end of this one here, this is going to be who we've got fighting for the win tonight. About a 3 or 4 truck tangle for the victory. That one wreck really took a lot out of this field where we had a lot of promising prospects that could have potentially got their first win here tonight. Got gathered up in that wreck at midway and also kind of upset the apple cart for certain drivers like Tom Cording, Kyler Sustre. Tom Cording, though, however, has maneuvered his way up to 5th, so some huge gains there in the 90 truck. Craig Popcris with the solid 6th place run. Lotus King, Roach, Trevor Walker, Bella Fawn, Luis Rodriguez, Chasey Plays, What Army, Wachner, and even Nate Newman with a top 15. They're starting to shuffle around the lap traffic of Dalton Scott there. And now Brian DeBlanc sole possession of second place goes to Brian DeBlanc there now. John Hagen has got to be thinking that it's a good thing he got his win last week, that's going to be his staple for getting him into the W chase. Even more so tonight, you got Krista Cower fighting with Brian DeBlanc, and DeBlanc knows very good and well that a win here tonight will be his ticket to the W chase. We're still not for certain if everyone out there can make it to the finish without having to stop for gas. Couple drivers would have been about 5 laps short. Then the other cast would have been closer to 3, maybe 2 laps short. Then you gotta equate in there the fact that we had a caution with 4 laps under yellow. So that would have been able to allow for some drivers to save fuel if they coasted around under caution. But ultimately the distance here tonight is going to be a tight one for a lot of these folks. More lap traffic becoming a hazard here at the front. Krista has been very well up front here, leading the second half. Oh, and there we go. Brian DeBlanc using that lap truck as a pick is going to lead that lap over Krista Cower. And now we've got a new leader here with 33 laps to go. Brian DeBlanc leading the way. So we got to see Chevy break out of its winless streak. And perhaps maybe they're going to be going on a winning streak. John Hagen last week brought the 88 truck to victory lane. And we're 30 laps from the conclusion of this one to see if possibly Brian DeBlanc could back that up with another win for the Chevy bow tie. But you still got to factor in if these drivers can still make to the finish on what they've got in their tanks. If we do a quick recap the last time that DeBlanc was down pit road. He came under caution at lap 64, or is that... It was under green at... No, it would have been under caution, so... If you multiply that by 2, it would be at lap 128. And obviously they ran under caution there for a couple laps to lap 70 and 71. So it's going to be close. But not as dire as I first expected it to be. This might be the winning move for DeBlanc there in the 85 truck. And what a comeback story for that team after trying to get sponsors to run that truck and just basically driving on a budget from the inception of the team had some good deals go their way and found that it was going to be more profitable to switch over to Chevy this season. And it's paying off so far. He's racked up some good finishes here in the first 4 races and has been a contender for wins, it seems like, week in, week out right now. I think the fun part is going to be highlighting who's all making it to the W chase this year. We already know Tim and Tom Cording will both be there. Trevor Walker, Atlee Weiss, to name a few. John Hagen obviously joins that fold as well. Andre Stefan. So we're getting quite the cast of characters for our first ever W chase here in the USA Trucks. So yep, so far with only 1 caution in the race, with now 24 laps to go here. The initial start of the race was dominated by Alan Malcolm, who unfortunately got tangled up in that caution at halfway. That caution put an end to the day for Alan Malcolm, who actually led the first 60 laps or so of this race. Seemed like it, at least. He might have been more like the first 50 laps, but nonetheless dominated the start of this one. Green flag pit stops started to come around, but before all the trucks could make down pit road for their green flag pit stop, we had a wreck that was caused by the 22 of Dave Steele Jr. making contact with the 66 of Nathan Mann, and everyone from 5th on back had to try and find a way through basically a concrete wall that was created as the truck started wrecking in front of them. So that took out a lot of fast drivers in this race. We had the likes of Chris Harvey involved in the wreck, who was up in the top 15, top 10 for most of the race. Like mentioned, Alan Malcolm, who was leading the race, unfortunately got knocked out due to that caution. John Hagen was making moves, getting up into the top 5, and is going to have to live to fight another day. But as you can see, the 66 there of Nathan Mann, that's your first domino that affected all of those at the back of the field right there. And even so, you still got drivers that had significant damage from that wreck that are still running, especially Tyler Shangle there in 2nd. You can see how rough that truck is. I'm amazed it's still running fast. Ran a 30.5. Compare that up to DeBlanc, who ran a 30.3. Someone's got to give Tyler Shangle props for driving an ugly truck here at the end of this one that has no rights to being 2nd place at the finish. Tom Cording has really cruised his way through the field since the restart. Not holding back. He has jumped from about 10th on back to 3rd. And turning laps at 30.6, he's still within range of catching up to the leaders here. DeBlanc fighting with lap traffic, and only 18 laps to go. That was a 30.7 for Brian DeBlanc. Tom Cording just consistently laying out those 30.6s, so he's in the same picture. It's like the Jaws Gotta start cueing the Jaws theme as Tom Cording trying to play the closer here tonight. Maybe picking up some cues from Kevin Harvick. Yes, Tyler is full-time in the 45 truck, but will have to win a race to be qualified eligible for the W Chase. Since Tashi Gupta left, and I mean, as of right now, he's full-time in the 45, but if we get another standout Dodge phenom that wants to hop into a Dodge seat, we can rotate someone out. However, if Tyler Shangle wins a race, then we'll have to look at the fact that he'll be running full-time. So it's very situational, or very dependent, I guess. Very fluctuating. Very good for DeBlanc as he's only got 15 laps to go, and having to hold off the damaged truck of Tyler Shangle. 30.368 for Tom Cording. Compare that to Brian DeBlanc and a 30.7. So Tom Cording is going to make this race interesting at the end. And you got to think about the odds makers are probably scratching their head at this one. How is it possible that Chevy had went one without a win from the start of the 2022 season up until last week to potentially getting back-to-back wins for the manufacturer here? And those of you that are tuned in, if you read the comment or the description of the video, you do have an opportunity, as there's only 11 laps here. If you like the broadcast, just hit that like button and make a comment during the live chat or even in the comment section saying that you did so, and you'll get a +1 min-max valued to your truck. For example, Chadwick last night was able to get +1 for his truck after he liked and posted in the comments that he did so. He can do so again tonight if he likes it. However, since Chadwick's not racing tonight, he would be doing it for his team truck, the number 15. Yeah, unfortunately for Alan Malcolm, I see in the comments section there, you were at the front leading the first half of the race. And yeah, lap truck ended up taking you out with the wrecks and carnage that ensued from the 66 truck wrecking in front of you. Oh, and now Tyler's on the high side here. This is not looking good for DeBlanc. I don't know if possibly DeBlanc's running out of gas. 6 laps. I called it. It's going to be about 5 laps, and these guys are just running right on the barren edge. So Tyler Shangle darts to the lead here. DeBlanc looks like he had something severely go wrong with that truck, but I think he's having to kick it into overdrive on saving fuel right now. You gotta think maybe team tactics with the 77 truck. That's a teammate to the 45, holding up Brian DeBlanc there. That looked very, very fishy, the way that the 77 brake checked the 85. Kind of makes you wonder if the team tactics card was pulled there to try and get the 45 to the lead. So Tyler Shangle Racing now leads, due in part to the lap traffic Tyler Shangle Racing truck. This seems more so the case for DeBlanc after one race in the Busch Series that he led. Oh, and Tyler's pulling down pit road. So there we have the lead changing hands again. Tyler was not able to save enough fuel here. DeBlanc stays out another lap, and all he's got to do is hold on for 3 laps here. I was going to say, though, DeBlanc on another occasion had led a lot of laps at North Wilkesboro last season in the Sylvania Busch Series. And on the last lap, something just went wrong and he got loose. And I believe it was Al Bunch that ended up winning the race. And Brian DeBlanc had to settle for second. I think some viewers that remember that race might have been getting some flashbacks there for DeBlanc, as it almost looked identical to that again, just this time in a truck. Oh, DeBlanc's having to pull down pit road now too. So now it's really going to get weird. The hard part is the 90 of Tom Court. Oh, Tom Courting made his pit stop. It's just going to be a simple gas and go for DeBlanc. We're going to keep our eyes on DeBlanc here. Yeah, there he goes. He's leaving now. It's going to be a race to see if he stays out in front. The 45's right there. And here comes DeBlanc right there in front. He's going to keep. Oh, and there's a huge differential in speeds there. The 98 still out front, it looks like. Is she going to pull down pit road for gas? Krista Cower does not pull down for pit stop. She outlasts everyone on the fuel mileage and gets the victory here tonight for Subaru. Heartbreak for Brian DeBlanc, who had looked like he was going to get the win here tonight and just come up short, got bested by a fuel strategy that put the 98 out front, and she never looked back as she kept going when everyone else was pitting. Coming home second, Craig Popkris with a season high finish there. Never before has he finished second. Third was the 38 of Monty Shangle. Fourth was Silas Huddleston. Fifth was Anheuser Wachner. Then you had Kat Durham, Chasey Plays, Brian DeBlank, Tyler Shangle, and Tom Cording to round out your top 10. So that was an exciting one, I must say. I didn't expect the fuel mileage to become quite the big deal there at the end, but it did happen. And congratulations to Krista Cower on pulling out the surprise win there. Krista, I do believe, is the second, as Jessica Hergeson was the first female to win in the USA Trucks. So Krista joins Rare Air there, the two female drivers that have won in the USA Trucks. DeBlanc knows that he's got the speed and he's got the ability to win. He's just got to put those pieces together, and it'll be a matter of time before we see DeBlanc in victory lane. Tough night for a few drivers, especially the 9 of Alan Malcolm, who was looking to be lights out here tonight. Gets tangled up in a wreck and ultimately retires from the race. So, and also the fun fact here is that we had two new manufacturers get, well, Chevy not being so new, but a new win for a new manufacturer, with Chevy getting there first and Subaru getting there first here today. And now the next one would be Honda to try and find their way to victory lane. So this West division has been very exciting. We've seen some very fascinating turns of events here in the last couple weeks, and it's only going to get better from here. Congratulations to Star Syndicate Racing Industries and Krista Cower for pulling off the victory here. Perhaps Subaru is going to be in the talks for trucks with the best fuel mileage in the series, as she pulled off the victory tonight with fuel mileage. We were keeping an eye so closely on the fight with Brian DeBlanc that we lost track of Krista Cower leading and closing out the deal. So glad everyone tuned in. Hope you all enjoyed the race. It was a good one. Our next set of races will be posted likely in the next week or so. Cup Series is coming to a close. The trucks are just getting through the halfway point of the regular season here. And before you know it, we're going to be crowning champions at the end of the year too. So stay tuned. Keep popping in from time to time, liking the videos, and you might get some boosts to your truck ratings. In the meantime, glad you guys could tune in. Hopefully all have a good night. Stay safe out there. This is Jakesters signing out.